Am I the a-hole for wanting my ex-wife to pay rent or move out, even though it will force a custody change? I'm a 44 male, and I am divorced from Ali, 43 female. We were together for over 17 years total, and we've been divorced a little over 2 years now. Ali and I divorced because she thought I was having an affair, which I wasn't. She believed I was being secretive and that staying out late meant I was seeing someone else. In reality, I was being secretive because of my job. I've always been required to protect customer information. That was never new or unexpected. I was also staying out later because my dad was seriously sick. At the same time, my mom is chronically ill. I was juggling work, family, and caregiving. Life meant long days and late nights. Ali ended up hiring a private investigator to follow me, and they found nothing because there was nothing to find. I only found out because I saw the bill. As you can expect, the trust was completely gone, and the marriage didn't survive it. Did I try? Not hard, no. I just felt betrayed. We have 2 kids together, both teens, 13 and 18, whom we had before we were married. They attend a local school system that is truly phenomenal. Our youngest has an IEP for reading, and the level of support they get there has made a huge difference. Keeping the kids in these schools has always been a top priority for both of us, regardless of where we stood as a couple. The problem is that the area we live in is extremely expensive. I honestly don't know any single person who can afford to live here alone without roommates or a partner. I'm sure they exist. I just don't personally know any. Ali worked before, but she was always low income, and now she chooses not to work. We have 50-50 joint custody, and I pay a significant amount of child support. 3 months ago, the legal agreement regarding our former marital home ended. The house was originally owned by my parents, who are aging poorly due to health issues, so they transferred ownership of both that house and the one I live in to me to get it out of the way. Now here's the conflict. I want Ali to start paying rent for the home she's living in. The rent I'm asking is still below market value, but it would be more than the child support I currently pay her. If I rented it to someone else, I could honestly make a lot more. Ali and her new boyfriend Jacob are expecting their first child together. They say they can't afford to live in the area while also paying that rent. I told her as calmly as I could that I can't afford to support an entire second family long term. Due to the court order, Ali can't move away with the kids. If she relocates, it would have to be without them, which is obviously part of the overall issue. She talked to the kids about all of this before looping me in. I wasn't happy about that, but what's done is done. The kids are understandably upset, but what surprised me is that they're more upset with her. They feel like she's expecting me to continue paying for her life, her boyfriend, and her new baby. I don't even like that they're involved in this. Ali has been trying to find another place, but anything affordable within an hour commute is either unavailable right now or has a long wait list. She told me that if she has to move farther away, I'll need to have the kids most of the time because of school, and she'll take them on weekends. I actually told her I'm fine with that because I want more time with them, what's best for them and their education. However, I also told her that if custody changes, we'll need to go back to court to reevaluate child support. After hearing that, she completely lost it. She accused me of trying to punish her, control her life, and financially destroy her while she's pregnant. From my perspective, I'm already paying child support. I've been flexible, and I'm prioritizing the kids staying in their schools. I just don't think it's fair or sustainable for me to continue subsidizing my ex-wife's housing while she builds a new family. At the same time, I know that forcing this issue could drastically change her life, impact her relationship with the kids, and make me look like the bad guy, especially given that she's pregnant and housing is so hard to find. So, am I the a-hole for wanting my ex to either pay rent or move out, even knowing it could lead to a custody change and financial consequences for her? Now for the comments. She literally blew up a 17-year marriage because she couldn't communicate, and then expected you to bankroll her life indefinitely. To be fair, it sounds like he couldn't communicate either. I don't have to ask my husband about his job because he will tell me if there's a project taking more time because it would affect the family. I don't have to ask my husband about his parents and their health because he will involve me with that too. It's hard to be secretive about it all when you're married, in my opinion. There's not much to do about my job. I work in the medical field. I take calls and I can't talk about those. She would ask, "Who's calling?" And I would say, "A patient." She would want more than that, which I can't give. As for my parents, she knew. She just didn't believe I was actually there when I said I was, or thought I was making excuses to not do something. She got upset because I cooked dinner for my parents. She said I smelled as if I was at a restaurant. You can't argue with that kind of thinking and win. Not the a-hole. Typically with 50-50 custody, no child support is paid. I'm a much higher earner, so I was ordered to pay to keep things equal. I knew I would end up paying during the divorce, so it wasn't something that caught me by surprise. Not the a-hole. Doesn't the boyfriend have a job? Let him pay rent. He works at a local dealership. Not sure of his wage, but I know he also pays child support, so I imagine he's not doing the best either. Are you sure she and Jacob weren't already together when you were still married? Maybe she was projecting when she thought you were cheating. I don't think so. I never took her for someone to step out of a relationship, in all honesty. If they were, good for them. I'm over that part of my life. Next story. Am I the a-hole for allowing my stepdaughter to wear stinky pajamas to school? I, 31 female, married my husband, 37 male, in December, then moved in with him and his daughter, 15 female. Her mom, 41 female, is in the picture, but my stepdaughter lives with us full-time. On the first day of school after Christmas break for my stepdaughter, I was supposed to drive her to school. When she was ready, she was in pajamas that smelled like gym clothes. She had pimple patches all over her face. Her hair was messy and greasy. But I didn't say anything. She's 15 and in 10th grade. I figured she's old enough to dress herself. Plus, if her mom and dad don't have a problem with it, why should I? My mom, 53 female, came to visit. My mom looked like her eyes would fall out of her head when she saw how my stepdaughter looked when she came home from school. My mom asked how on earth I'm allowing my stepdaughter to go to school like that. I told my mom nobody asked for my input and it wasn't my decision. She called me, my husband, and my stepdaughter's mom bad parents for allowing her to look like that at school. I asked my mom to leave my house. Am I the a-hole? Plus, if her mom and dad don't have a problem with it, why should I? There are at least 3 people in this post who have no business being parents. I mean, I get it to a certain degree. When I was in high school, I would wear basically pajamas to school. My mother hated it, but I was just a comfy kid. If I had to be there, it didn't matter what I wore in my opinion. I would still dress up nice most of the time, but some days it was PJs. They also never stank, but I do get it from the kid's perspective. However, as a mom of a teenager now, I at least make sure she's decent. Even if she wears PJs to school, I make sure they are clean and appropriate. I try to make sure her face is cleaned off before she gets out of my car, and her hair is done at least halfway nicely. I would never let her walk in with pimple patches and just looking like a nasty bum. This is a 15-year-old girl that doesn't care what she looks or smells like. There is a problem with all of you. Yeah, my 14-year-old and 12-year-old daughters would be mortified to go to school like that. The mere threat of it is usually enough to get them to get off their butts and get ready. Like, I have to get to work. If you're not dressed in 10 minutes, you'll go to school in your PJs. Never see them move so fast. You're the a-hole OP. Your stepdaughter is not okay. This girl sounds depressed. It's not normal to go to school looking like a cry for help. I work in a high school, and unfortunately a lot of high schoolers do look and smell like this, which is wild because I wouldn't have been caught dead like this in school. Honestly, I think we're seeing the effects of 2 parents having to work now. A lot of people forget certain things need to be taught and reinforced, like basic hygiene. A lot of these parents don't pay attention or care, or have the mindset that once the kid is in high school, they're old enough to take care of themselves. Some parents don't realize that when they come home from work, they still have a second job, which is parenting. Edit. This edit is for the wonderful people who are concerned about my stepdaughter. I agree I'm the a-hole. I now understand this is not normal. I will do my best to get her professional help. Next story. Am I the a-hole for leaving the house to stay with my boyfriend after my sister forced me to take care of her child? I'm 20 female and I do not like kids. I never have. I do not enjoy taking care of them, playing with them, or being responsible for them. I have always been clear about this with my family. My sister, 31 female, has a 5-month-old daughter. I love her, but loving someone does not mean I want to be a caregiver to the one thing I hate most. A few months ago, my sister started asking me to help her with her daughter. At first, it was small things, watching her for an hour, staying with her while my sister ran errands. I did not love it, but I agreed because I felt pressured. Slowly, it turned into more and more. I was expected to babysit multiple days a week for hours. I had to feed her, play with her, help her shower, and put her to sleep. My sister never asked anymore. She just assumed I would do it and yelled at me when I didn't. Whenever I tried to say no, she would say things like, "You are young. You have free time. You live at home anyway." Or she would guilt me by saying she is family and I should help, and then blame me. I felt trapped and exhausted. Even though I hated every minute of it, I still did it, because every time I complained, my family told me I was selfish and I felt like I was one. Recently, I told everyone that I had planned a trip with my friends. It was already paid for and planned weeks in advance. I was excited because it was the first time in a long while I felt like I had something for myself. My sister immediately got angry. She said, "What am I supposed to do with my daughter then?" I reminded her that I never agreed to be her full-time babysitter. She exploded and said I was abandoning her and being irresponsible, like it's my baby and not hers. She told me that I should cancel my trip and take care of my niece instead, so I immediately said no. That turned into a huge argument. She called me names, including bitch, and said I was immature and heartless. My parents sided, of course, with her and said I should step up and help my sister. I felt overwhelmed and honestly so done that I would really snap at them if I stayed. So I packed a bag and left the house to stay with my boyfriend for a few days. Now they are furious. They say I ran away from responsibility and that I chose my boyfriend and friends over my own family. My sister says I betrayed her and that she cannot rely on me anymore. I feel guilty for my niece and I feel like I am the bad one. So am I the a-hole? Where is her husband/father of the child? Not the a-hole. Your sister acts like she feels she ruined her life with kids and is taking it out on you because you don't have kids. It's one thing if she has to work and can't find arrangements for the time being, but it's another to expect free childcare anytime you feel like it. She had that baby, not you. She needs to pay you for your time or hire someone. Why don't your parents help out and babysit, since they see nothing wrong with a family member giving free childcare? I'm sure they have nothing to do if they have the energy to come at you about how you use your free time. I didn't mention him actually, because he's the kind of person who does anything his wife wants. He's okay with it, so he is on her side. Not the a-hole. Your sister is responsible for her child, not you. You need to set boundaries here and be confident enough to maintain them. Just say no. The number of posts about people dumping their kids is astonishing. OP is not the parent and deserves their own life. Sister needs to co-parent with dad or find other resources. OP isn't her resource, not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. Your sister and the child's father are responsible for their daughter's care. The child is not your responsibility. Your sister should have never relied on you in the first place. Does your niece live in the home with you and your parents? Does your sister not have her own home? Do your parents have an expectation that you will babysit instead of paying rent? I'm trying to figure out how or why they are on your sister's side. If that's the case, you would be better off paying them rent, in my opinion. The parents are on the sister's side because if OP disappears, they will be next on the hook to take care of the kid. Last story. Am I the a-hole for undermining my stepmom and getting my stepsister soup? Last week on Friday, my stepsister, 17, texted our family group chat with me 19 male, my dad, 52, my stepmom, 47, and my other stepsister, 19 female. For further context, our parents got married 1 year ago, so I never really got to know either of them too well, and we all generally mind our own business. She asked if someone could please grab her soup from a deli place about 2 miles down the street from our house on their way home because she wasn't feeling well. My dad and stepsister both said they would be home later, and my stepmom said that since she had a license now, she could go herself. She said she was feeling really bad and didn't think she could. I was driving and stopped at a gas station, and when I checked my phone while there, I saw the messages and said that I could grab her some since I had just gotten off work. She said thank you, and my stepmom immediately responded and asked if I was sure, since she was almost an adult who could get it herself. I said it was no big deal and that it was on the way home. We get takeout from this place for dinner sometimes, and I remembered she likes their cookies, so I grabbed one for her too. When I got home, my stepsister was on the couch and my stepmom was at the kitchen island, but they're kind of in the same room, so when I gave her the soup and the cookie, my stepmom noticed. Later on, my dad told me that apparently my stepmom didn't like that I went and got her the soup after she said she could grab it herself, because I was undermining her. Apparently, she also didn't like that I bought her a cookie too, because it was rewarding laziness. I said she was being ridiculous, because it was literally soup, and my dad told me that it didn't matter, and that if she didn't like it, I was in the wrong because I crossed the line by doing something she didn't want me to do. I thought she was overreacting at first, but it seems like she is still upset about it. And the more I think about it, I feel as if I may have gone against what she wanted, which is semi-rude. Tell your dad you now feel like your stepmom has overstepped with you, because you're an adult and you can make these decisions on your own. But also, OP's stepsister is being mature and acting more like an adult than her own mom. When you're sick, you stay home so you don't get other people sick. Honestly, the stepmom basically saying get it yourself is weird. I can see the point she was trying to make. The kid is almost an adult, and she needs to learn how to navigate illnesses and situations on her own if there is no one available to help. But there was, and OP offered, because OP is a kind person. If stepmom is so offended that another adult offered to help her child, then that's her problem, and she needs to build a bridge and get the heck over it. OP, it shows a little effort and care, and it makes stepmom feel like crap because if that were you, she would absolutely not do the same for you. You are not her child and not her family. What does being an adult even have to do with it? I'm an adult with kids, one in college, and if I'm feeling sick, my wife will get soup for me, not make me get it myself, and I do the same for her. That's an absurd thing to have a problem with. Unless your stepsister does this habitually because she's lazy, but you didn't mention anything about that in your post. Even better, you know what adults do when they're sick and want food? DoorDash.